Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Today I'm going to give a little bit of a rebuttal to something that I saw on social media the other day that kind of irked me a little bit because I felt like it was misleading information. And what that specifically was how to choose a good swim bait. And the whole premise of the video was based off of looking at how soft the material is and looking at the tail and seeing how well it falls over. And I got to tell you guys that to me is 100% incorrect. The softness of the bait does one thing. It does show you how limber the plastic is. So, as a comparison, what I've got here are two of the most popular baits, right? They're both 6-inch models. This is a Kitech Swing Impact Fat. This is a Megabass Mag Draft. And if I were to do the comparison and hold the front to you and just let the bait flop over, what you're going to see is the Kitech, significantly softer, hangs over more than the Megabass Mag Draft. And to me, just because this hangs over more does not mean that this is a better swim bait. And I'm not here to say this is better or this is better. What I'm here to tell you is these are two of the absolute most popular swim baits on the market that have been absolute proven fish catchers, and they have completely different limberness within the tail. Now, what you can determine based on a limber tail, say if we're going to talk about the Kitech, is a couple of things right off the bat. One, it's going to have tail wag, meaning the bait motion is going to be in this area. So you have a bait that runs straight with a lot of tail kick side to side. It's kind of what Kitechs are known for. The other thing I'll tell you is when you have a bait that is that soft, they tend to tear more. So they may have more tail motion. They don't hold up generally as well as something that's got a little bit of a stiffer plastic in it, like the Mag Draft. But here's the biggest difference. So when you see a bait that's got a stiffer tail, if that's what we want to call it, what that means is you don't get as much tail kick side to side. What you end up getting is much more side roll because that rigidity to the tail grabs more water and it gets the bait to roll. So from that standpoint, you have two completely different tail limberness areas, but the baits run completely different. A Kitech does not roll side to side. It has tail kick side to side. The Mag Draft is much better at a more compact tail motion that has more side to side movement as a whole. I'm not saying one is the right or one is wrong, but it sure as heck does not mean that one of these is not a good swim bait because of the limberness to the tail. I can give you a lot of other examples. I mean, another one, proven fish catcher. This is a Bass Tricks Hollow Belly. Does not have great tail kick motion in terms of falling over. But these aren't known for real wide tail kicks like a Kitech. They're known for their belly wobble, right? That's what makes them so good. I think a lot of people out there would say that they'd rather have belly roll or side to side rolling motion versus big wide tail kick. As another comparison, this is a D&M swim bait. These are all roughly 6-inch models. Like when I compare that to a Kitech, I mean, it is a very, very limber tail, if not even more limber. Compared to your Mag Draft, way more limber. But again, and this is a great swim bait. The thing is, you get tail kick. You don't get real big, wide rolling motion out of the body. So to me, it's a misconception for people to be out there saying, pick your swim baits based on just what the tail's doing, because all that's really telling you is the softness of the material, and it's telling you whether you're going to have more tail kick or more belly roll. That's really all that comes down to. There is a time and a place to have belly roll and tail kicking. Today's video is brought to you by the Deep Dive app, which will help you select the best fishing places in the lake with features like the lake level, the current flow, the top baits tool, which will help you select the best baits for certain locations throughout the lake, Whether that's a clear water, stained water, dirty water, it'll choose the best bait for that location, provide you with all the information like what structure, what retrieve, different reel, all of the information that you need to catch the fish. This is in the app. The cool part about this app, though, is it's not just based on areas, it does provide you with specific tournament winning data that has been collected to help you figure out your best choices for baits and locations for whatever region of the lake it is that you want to fish. On top of that, not only does the app provide you with best locations, it gives you water clarity as well. So maybe you're on a lake like Lake Eufaula, where there is a bunch of different water clarity located throughout the entire lake. This will help you identify the clearest portions as well as the dirtiest portions of the lake. Plus, the Deep Dive app has now added the wind effect map, which is going to take all of the different wind conditions for the past couple of days and show you what banks on the lake are being hit the hardest. They also have inflow points that show you different places throughout the lake where your water is being flushed into the lake through different ditches and creeks and rivers, providing you with high percentage places to fish and letting you know what parts of the lake are going to be the best areas after a rain. Check out the Deep Dive app to help you become a better angler. I personally prefer to have more of your belly roll with something like the mag draft or your hollow belly bass tricks when fishing specific targets or fishing water that's got a little bit more color to it. Meaning, I want something that's going to push more water. So, if my bait is moving side to side, that's actually going to push more water than just a limber tail kicking side to side. If I'm fishing clear water and I'm generally trying to fish a little bit deeper in the water column, that's where I prefer to have something that's got more tail kick and a little bit more of a less body roll because it's going to allow me to get deeper and stay deeper. It's a lot harder to get these bigger baits that have more tail or more belly roll, side to side motion to run as deep as some of your other baits that run better when you put them on a traditional jig head. You know, if you wanted to put this Kitech on a 3/4 ounce jig head and slow roll it on ledges that are down in 20 feet, this is going to perform better than trying to get something along the lines of a pre-weighted mag draft down to that depth and stay at that depth. So it really just comes down to the different types of water that you're fishing, the different locations that you're fishing. But I want to stress here, guys, that you should not be simply picking a swim bait based on how limber the tail is. Because in a lot of situations, a more limber bait is not actually going to serve you well under the conditions that you're fishing. So, from that standpoint, that's a simple rebuttal to tell you why you should not just be doing that. If you are, you might want to think about looking at some other swim baits and really trying them. It also is a good reason why you should try swim baits on different types of jig heads. For example, not the plug core tackle, but if you were to put a Kitech on a tush swim bait head, like this guy right here, where it's inserted into the body, what this is going to end up doing is giving you much more side to side rolling motion versus just a traditional jig head where you have big tail kick. But from the same standpoint, if you want a bait to have more tail kick, you're probably better off going with a traditional jig head because at that point you're not going to get the body motion, but you're going to get more tail kick. So it really comes down to the circumstances of what you're fishing, but also the way you're rigging it. Again, if you wanted to use a line through on those swim baits and rig it from that perspective with a treble hook, whether you bottom hook it or top hook it, you're going to get different performance out of that bait than you would with a traditional jig head. The key here, and what I'm stressing, is you should not just choose your swim baits based on how limber the tail is. That is not probably the best way to go about it. So let me know in the comment section. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Maybe I'm off base here, but I really think that people are missing the boat if that's what they're doing. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate all the support, and stay tuned. We'll have another video coming out tomorrow for you.